Hello, 22Tony here. I haven't been able to post a video in several months due to the COVID-19 nonsense. The auction houses, flea markets, garage sales have all been closed, and without being able to purchase any ammo, it's difficult to do any kind of a video on collecting ammo. So the auction houses are still closed, and hopefully we're going to be opening up in my area in a week or two, and maybe I'll be able to find some good vintage ammo finds that I can report. But since that hasn't happened yet, today I'm going to actually do something that I've been trying to avoid, and that's discussion of firearms themselves. But I decided, since I can't do the vintage ammo, I might as well go to another area of collecting that many of us are involved in. The internet seems to be full with top 5 and top 10 videos of all sorts of different topics. So today I wanted to do my top 5 low-priced handguns that just about anyone could afford. So for those of you that think you can't afford to buy a handgun, I'm going to give you a few ideas here that might be of interest to you. So today we're going to start with my number 5. My number 5 is going to be a Jennings J22. Now the Jennings J22 was actually introduced around 1978. It was a very low priced handgun, brand new. I think I paid about $89 for one. In the early 1980s, this was the first brand new gun of any sort I ever owned. Was a Jennings model J22. The Jennings J22 has the European style magazine release, 6 rounds plus 1 in the chamber, so it's a 6+1. Safety is on the left hand side only. This particular version is the chrome version. It also came in a blued version. Now the Jennings J22, they're getting a little harder to find. They haven't been made in quite a few years, but they're still on the market. They were what they were. It was an $89 handgun. Not the greatest quality. One of the things that I did like about it, and I found out just by trial and error, is they do much better with standard velocity ammo rather than high velocity. So just any standard velocity 22 rimfire long rifle, and the gun actually works. Once I figured out not to use the high velocity ammo, I don't think I've ever had a jam or a failure to feed. Again, just it was an $89 gun, so you kind of get what you pay for. Now today on the market, I've seen them under $100, but realistically, if you're going to buy one of these today with a magazine or two, you're looking at about $125. So it's still a low price, but for just going to the range and plinking, it's kind of fun. It also came in a 25 automatic version. The Jennings J25 was 25 auto. So again, these are still on the market, not real expensive. If you just want to go to the range and do a little bit of plinking, that's my number 5 pick. So now we're going to go to number 4. Number 4 is kind of an oldie but goodie. It's the U.S. Revolver Company. This particular one is a 32 Smith Wesson. These are available in several different calibers. I think you could find them in 22, 32, 38. This is a 5-round capacity. Again, 32 Smith & Wesson. They were fairly well made for their time. These things were made in the early part of the last century, up until maybe mid part of the last century. It's listed as U.S. Revolver Company, made in USA. These are actually made by Iver Johnson. Again, fairly good quality. They were made in large numbers. They're readily available. I don't think I've ever been to a gun show that, there weren't plenty of these around. And they're inexpensive. Again, for a plinker to take to the range, just something to play with. A nice single or double action revolver, 5-round. They run about $100 to $150 depending on condition. This one, the bluing's a little bit off, and it's a 32. I'd probably pay about $125 for this today if you were looking for one. So again, another relatively low price. Just about anybody could afford that. So let's go to number 3. Number 3 is a little more modern. We're going to go with a Phoenix Arms. This is a Phoenix Arms HP22. It's got the magazine release here. It's got 2 safeties on here. There's a safety here. The internet gives you instructions on how to override this one. I'm not going to talk about that. And then there's the safety up here. Single action. It is an 8-round magazine, so 8 plus 1. This is one of the Ring of Fire manufacturers that I'm going to encourage you. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail. The Jennings is also part of the Ring of Fire, Raven Arms. There were a few manufacturers that got this designation as Ring of Fire, and it's a derogatory term basically, but I want you to Google it. You're going to find out a lot of interesting information on the history of these firearms. The Phoenix Arms HP22 is a zinc alloy, as opposed to the Jennings was a chrome or, like I said, blued, but the Phoenix Arms is a zinc alloy. These also came in a 25 automatic, so it was a 22 long rifle is what I have. They were also available in 25 automatic. Again, these do well with the standard velocity ammo. I have shot the high velocity out of this one, but again, I think it does better with the standard velocity. So to go to the range and just plink, you can play with this all day for a couple dollars and just have a lot of fun. This, for a low-priced handgun, actually has a windage adjustment, which is rather unusual on something this inexpensive. These new, I believe, were about $150. They're available on the market today at a gun show or the online auction houses. You pay about $125 for Phoenix Arms HP22. Fun little gun. It does come, you can buy an optional 5-inch barrel. This is the 3-inch, or 3.5-inch, I believe. Again, just go to the range and plink all day for a couple of bucks. It works. For $125, you've got a handgun that actually works. Okay, so we're going to set that over here. So let's go to my number 2. My number 2 is the only one of the bunch that I would consider, you know, anything related to self-defense. My number 2 for a low-priced handgun that just about anybody can afford is an H&R Harrington and Richardson 732. 732 is a 32 Smith Wesson. It is single or double action. 6 rounds. They came in a chrome version. The chrome version is 733. I don't see those very often, but the 732, these must have been made in huge quantities. I see them at every gun show. They're available online auctions. Pretty much anywhere you go, you're going to find a Harrington and Richardson 732. There were variations of basically the same handgun in 22 long rifle. I believe they might have even had a 22 Magnum, but mostly you're going to see these little 32s. These made from around 1958 to about 1986, so mid part of the last century. Well-made gun. This one extremely clean. I think I paid about $150 for this one. Realistically, today on the market, I got a little bit of a good deal on this one, but in good clean condition like this, I'd expect to pay about $175 for it. So again, it's the most expensive of what I'm going to show you today, but still, really good gun. Go to the range just plinking with it. I'm not going to get into detail about whether or not 32 Smith & Wesson is a self-defense round or not. You can make that decision for yourself, but it's the closest I would come to a self-defense weapon with what I'm showing you today. That's not what I'm talking about today. I'm not talking about self-defense. I'm just talking about, again, going to the range, plinking, having a good time. I've used this little H&R to teach a young lady how to fire a handgun. That a friend of the family had inherited a .357 Magnum, and she had never even held a gun before. So rather than take her to the range with the .357, I took her out with a little H&R 732. We shot 32 for a couple of hours. She felt good about the gun, and then after that, then we'll move her up to something a little more powerful. Again, just a good, inexpensive, well-made, quality handgun that just about anybody can afford. Okay, so now we're coming up to my number one. My number one is actually one that I bought brand new just recently. We're talking Heritage Manufacturing Company Rough Rider. This is the again, the Heritage Rough Rider. This is the 22. It came with the 22 long rifle cylinder. I paid a couple dollars more and got a 22 Magnum cylinder, so that's available. This is a single action only. These are designed to be reminiscent of the Old West. It looks like something that would be carried in the Old West. Fun little gun. Very accurate 22 long rifle or 22 Magnum with the extra cylinder. Safety is here. None of these really have an ambidextrous safety, but that's the fire position. This is the safe position. Single action revolver. Perfect for trappers, maybe fishermen to carry. If you've got that 22 Magnum cylinder with snake shot, for on the farm to take care of rodent control. So this is actually a very useful handgun. Very well made. I'm very pleased with this, how well made it is. Again, it was kind of designed to be reminiscent of the Old West, and it gives you the fun and feel of the old single action cowboy guns. This one, when I bought it new, was about $150. And again, a few dollars more for the extra cylinder. But for this kind of quality, brand new handgun, out of the box for $150, that was delivered with tax and tags and registration and everything. Pretty much anybody that looking for a handgun to take to the range and just do a little bit of plinking, I highly recommend. My number one pick would be the Heritage Manufacturing Rough Rider. They went into business about 1992, and I think they're doing a wonderful job. Okay, well, that's my story for today. Again, just my top 5 low-priced handguns for taking to the range for doing a little bit of plinking. Hope you enjoyed my video. Hopefully I'm going to have some more here soon. But for right now, I just want to thank you for watching. If you want to share and let your friends know that my videos are available, feel free to do so. But thanks again for watching. Have a good day.